Hey Deku fam.
Hey, welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back.
We're back with the consistency. Yes, even I'm loving consistency these days. Literally, we hope you saw that we posted 2 videos last week.
2 videos.
Yeah.
We actually love you guys, so we posted 2 videos, and we might come back with 2 videos this week.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You better be on that notification, gang. But we're back on a Monday with the One series. Last week we spoke about, is there such thing as the one? We kind of don't believe that there's the one, but we do believe there's the one. So you need to go and check that video to understand what we're talking about, because sometimes we don't even understand ourselves. But
in this video, we are going to be talking about being the one in order to find the one. Hold on, that's about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go.
I don't know why I'm just following you like some follower. What was that? Anyway, we're talking about being the one, because the thing is, you can't necessarily control other people, but you can control yourself.
Sometimes it's good to actually want to position yourself to actually be a blessing to somebody else. And if you just focus on the things that you can control in terms of yourself, then you will be the one for someone else.
Because we spend so much time, like especially us ladies, like he needs to be 6 foot. Yep. He needs to be, dark chocolate skin. Yep. He needs to be you're everything, True. No, but jokes. No, but seriously, we can focus so much on like what that person needs to be, but what are we bringing to the table? You know what I mean? Are we the one for someone else? So it's really important for you to ask yourself some questions, and we've got 5 questions that you should really ask yourself to see whether you are ready for a relationship, or the one, or bae, or boo, or whatever you're
calling. My thing. My thing. You understand? So the first question is, do I know who I am, and do I love myself?
Ooh, it's a deep one, Can you literally walk in front of the mirror and say, I love me?
Yeah.
Because
or I love you.
Yeah, I love you. Yeah, as in me. Yeah. But can you really do that? Because a lot of people have really struggled with that, and I struggled with that at one point. A lot of people look in the mirror and they start crying because they don't really love themselves. So it's really important to just ask yourself that question, because if you don't love yourself, your standards are already going to be lower in terms of what you expect from someone else. And that dictates the kind of person that you have. Because if you don't have a sense of contentment, self-worth, you're going to go for anybody who gives you any attention. So you've really got to love yourself and be content with who you are. And spend time getting to know yourself. What makes you cry? What makes you happy? What makes you excited? What are you scared of? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? Really get to know yourself. Because when you get into a relationship, there's a little bit of friction at the beginning. This may be a myth for some people, but for us, there was a lot of friction, Because we were trying to understand each other. And they ask you proper difficult questions, like Gabes was like, why are you like this? And sometimes you're just like, I don't know. But you should actually know this about yourself before. Like, I'm emotional, and like, he needs to accept that. Some men will come in and try to ask you, like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Because I like to cry. You know what I mean? But when you know your self-worth and you're just like, actually, God created me as an emotional being, you're actually very comfortable with that. You can actually confront your partner in those areas. I wasn't asking her why, just to be like, why? I genuinely wanted to understand what made her tick, so that I don't do it again. So it's really important that Annabella understood why she was emotional, what led her to cry. Like, I might just take the milk out the fridge and she might start crying. I'm like, why? No. What in your past made you cry about milk? I need to understand. I need to understand, so I won't do it again. So it's important to understand yourself, love yourself, and be able to explain why you do certain things to your partner. And knowing yourself helps you know, the certain areas that you care about in life. I don't know how to explain it. So it also helps you with a filter process, because if you know yourself, you know whether you're compatible with someone else. It's not like, oh, he gave me a bit of attention and let's see what happens. No, I know who I am, and I know you and I are not gonna work. It's not compatible. And then you just you get rid of so much of the process. Like, it's not everyone that gives you attention that is like, oh, maybe I should give him a chance, maybe. No, when you know your worth, you're just like, actually, we're not really on the same page. You've got a heart for, I don't know, Singapore, I've got a heart for London. We're not going to live in the same country, so it's not going to work, all these things about knowing where you're going, your vision, and all the things that make you tick determines who you're going to be with. Exactly. Question number 2, do you have anyone in your life that you need to forgive? Good one.
Yeah, because you can literally be living your... Sorry. Excuse me. You can literally be living the present from the past, okay? Everything that someone did to you in the past, every offense, every trial you bring into the present moment, and then you can be putting that onto your spouse and they did nothing, and then they get all this abuse. You need to be able to forgive. Has there been anyone, like a friend, an ex-relationship, a parent that you need to forgive? And is there anything that you need to forgive yourself for so that you can let go? Because you need to go into a relationship with a blank canvas and allow that person to kind of paint their own picture for you to be able to say, okay, is this working out or is it not?
Yeah, and for us, like in that first 6 months of us really getting to know each other before we got into a relationship, that's where we had a lot of our arguments, because there were deep-rooted stuff that we hadn't dealt with in our past that really could have saved us a lot of time. We could have got into a relationship a lot quicker if it wasn't for those things. Like, for example, I hadn't forgiven myself for certain things that I'd done in my past, so I kept trying to push Gabes away and be like, no, you won't accept me, all that kind of stuff, because I hadn't dealt with my past, and you as well.
I just thought all girls are crazy. I literally thought every girl was crazy. So Annabella will ask me a question and I'll get real defensive and I'm like, why are you asking me that? Like, don't ask me that.
Or you look into things really deeply.
I'm like, why are you doing this? And I'll really be drumming down, because I literally just thought all girls are crazy. And I actually couldn't trust women. So I think, like, I had to really step back and really allow Annabella to show me who she is and be able to say, okay, is this the right person for me? Because I didn't want to be having, because sometimes you can find yourself having arguments with, like, I can be having arguments with Annabella, but I'm actually not really having an argument with Annabella. I'm having an argument with people in my past, and I'm looking at her like, oh, why are you doing this? And I'm like, Annabella, you know, Annabella does some things, but it's not really that deep. It's like, I'm arguing with the person in my past, and I'm like, you know, dealing with my history when I need to let that go so we can actually move forward. Yeah,
and for me, like, thinking about it, Gabes is a very trustworthy person, but my exes weren't trustworthy, and, you know, not growing up with my dad was difficult, I guess, but I didn't think about those things, so I was just going with the flow, you know me, going with the flow through life, not even thinking about things too deep. But then when Gabes started confronting me about certain things, like in a relationship, you're confronted by a lot of things that you haven't dealt with, so like, we definitely encourage you to just, if you're single, like, write a list of things of people that you need to forgive and start praying about it, start dealing with those things before you get into a relationship, because the healthier that you can be on your own, the better your relationship will be to begin with. The number of problems that you can avoid through dealing with things by yourself.
It's all about asking yourself, what is going on inside of me, and really trying to understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
Number 3, do I have a teachable spirit, and can I handle feedback even when it hurts?
Oh my gosh. Look, guys, you think that at work, you know, when you have your one-to-one with your manager and they're telling you, you know, how you're doing and stuff, and your heart is ready to receive that feedback. In a relationship, ain't no warning.
Feedback is instant.
You did that. Why? Like, it's serious and it's constant. Our house, I feel like it's a military operation, literally. As soon as someone does something that is, you know, not quite like, what are you doing? Why?
Look at you,
But literally, it's such a good thing, and that's one of the benefits of being in a relationship, that you can actually challenge each other to be better. You see things, your partner sees things that you didn't even know was going on with inside
They see your blind spots. But the thing is, we can take it like, oh, why are they challenging me in this area? Why are they challenging me in that area? But the thing is, what's that quote that you found the other day about, if you don't argue in a relationship and you don't challenge yourself, one of you is a waste of space.
Yes, that was the John Piper quote. Actually, his wife, I don't know her name, but
because nobody is perfect, and the point of being in a relationship is so that you can challenge to be more like Christ. It's for you to actually get better. So literally,
you're actually not just there to just sing kumbaya to each other and be like, oh baby, I love you, oh I love you too, you're doing so well. Oh no,
you need to sort your life out.
I'm here to help you reach your full potential, bro, and become more Christ-like. That's what a relationship is. At the end of the day, you and your spouse are there to challenge each other, to make each other better, to go further together than you could have gone alone. So for you guys to be just sitting there like, oh yeah, baby, you're doing so well. Oh yeah, no, trust me. Like,
if you flop, you flop. Keep sharpening each other.
That's basically
because at the end of the day, you can go into work and your partner could have these things that they're not doing well in, but literally in the household, be able to be like, hey babe, you know, that presentation that you did was great, but you could actually get better. Like, sharpen each other.
And more so on the character front, sharpening each other is just so important. So basically what we're trying to say is that you will be corrected in your relationship, but are you willing to accept that correction? Like, do you have that teachable spirit? Do you understand that your partner is there to make you better? And despite how painful that process may be, like, are you willing to go through that? Because it's long when, like, every single negative thing that they say about you, you're just saying like, oh, but you're attacking me, but this, but that. Like, at the end of the day, there's obviously a way that they should deliver it in love.
And they should be obviously complimenting you
as well. But do you have that teachable spirit? Because you can only go on for so long with someone being like, oh, you shouldn't have said that about me, blah, 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 when you should know that they're coming from a good place. So really, before you're in a relationship, try to understand yourself. When your manager even gives you feedback, how do you take that?
How do you react to that?
Are you someone who's easily, are you easily offended by things that people say about you? Do you take everything to heart?
Because in a relationship, oh my goodness, you can get offended. So literally,
that's a question that you should ask yourself before
do you have a teachable spirit? So the fourth question that you should be asking yourself is, do you really love Jesus and is he your everything? Because I think one of the biggest secrets that we've discovered is that your partner cannot fulfill your everything. Okay? Like, your partner has flaws, your partner has imperfections, and they can't meet your every need. But the only person that can is Jesus. When you come into a relationship having a sense of expectation that my partner must do this for me, my partner must do this for me, I don't feel worthy and therefore my partner must tell me 25 times a day about how beautiful I am and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't, like, it's only draining in your relationship. You want two people who are whole to come into a relationship, and that's when it's more fruitful, that's when there's more joy, when you're two complete. Because to be honest, when I've probably said this before, but when I was in my last relationship, I literally thought the best thing is when a girl is kind of not crippled, but you know, I always thought, like, you know, you find a girl who's a bit like, you know, and then you be her Captain America, and then you rescue her, and then you live happily ever after because you've saved her, now she worships you. No, that is the worst thing you can do. Find a girl who doesn't actually even need a man. You see, Annabella, one of the things that was actually, I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that was actually very attractive about Annabella is the fact that she didn't need me. She didn't need me to support her, she didn't need me to encourage her. She was so confident in who she was, and I was like, this girl, what is wrong with her? Like, you talk to her, she's like, you know, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, no. Like, literally, it's so attractive having someone who's confident in who they are, and they don't need nobody. And
for you ladies, like, those are the real men out there that can actually handle a woman that is so confident in herself. You know, it's weak men that actually want women that are crippled, that are insecure, and then they depend on them for their everything. Like, we want real men out here, and we want them to rise up, do you know what I mean? So literally, women, feel confident in yourself, be who you are, and trust that, you know, Jesus is your everything, and the man needs to be the icing on the cake, do you know what I mean? Like, he's gonna actually add value to your life, because when you're already whole, then you're not settling for any Tom, Dick or Harry. You're actually wanting someone who adds value to your life and can take you further than you could have gone on your own. And that's why I was really like, oh, I actually really like you, because you tell me about LinkedIn, you tell me about all these things that I really didn't know about, and I could see that you brought something to the table that I couldn't do on my own.
Your partner is literally the corner of the cob. Jesus is the main meal, he's the rice, and he's just a little corner of the cob, okay? So just keep it moving and just make Jesus your everything. And
the moment you become content with yourself and actually understand that I don't actually need a man to actually do everything that God's called me to do on earth. Like, he will bring a man at the time when it's needed, but you can actually cope on your own. I don't know why we got into this thing where we think that, like, marriage is like the everything.
The end and be all, that you need to be married in order to move forward. The thing is, that could be a sense of idolatry where you're idolizing marriage to the point where it's actually hindering your relationship with Christ. You don't want to be in a position where you idolize someone to the point where they just become your everything. It's not going to be fruitful. They'll let you down and you will be disappointed. So what we're trying to say here is that Jesus is everything. Jesus is the, you know, Nando's whole chicken. And then your partner is like the corn on the cob. You know what I mean? Like, we are satisfied if we just got the chicken. If we just got the corn on the cob, we'll not be happy with it. No! How are we going to go to Nando's? You're going to bring corn on the cob?
Exactly. So
bring my chicken, bro!
For real. So, you know, you might be searching for a relationship thinking that that's going to be your satisfaction and be your everything, but what you're actually searching for is God, because he's the only one that can actually fulfill your everything. And then the partner comes and complements that, and then you can actually be like fire on the mountain.
Fire! So the fifth question that you need to ask yourself is, Do you have boundaries and do you know how to keep them?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, if you don't have a core values, you don't have a standard, you will literally be blowing with the wind.
Yeah, literally.
And you know, Annabella always says,
only dead fish go with the flow.
Yes, and we're not dead fish. We're not dead fish out here, okay? No. We have a set of standards, we have a set of core values that we live by. And you don't want to be in a position where you don't know how to even keep your own standard or your boundaries, that then you allow someone to come into your relationship and then you're literally compromising everything that you are just to try and fulfill this person's needs. No, like one of the things that we really value is the fact that we didn't have sex before we got married. And when we both came in a relationship, we were like, this is a standard that we have. We're not going to have sex before married. And before we even got in our relationship, there were things that we were practicing. So the thing is, like I said, I'm not having sex, so that meant I wasn't watching pornography. I wasn't going to no strip clubs or anything like that. I was exercising purity because that was a standard that I had for my life, and it's something that I did not want to do. So have a standard and keep to it.
And people think that you shouldn't have the standard before you get into a relationship, and then when you get into the relationship, that's when the standard kicks in and you're going to be all disciplined and all this stuff. But it really doesn't happen. Like, you need to start practicing certain things before you get into a relationship, and then it's just overflowed and continues in your relationship.
So you set the standards from when you're single, and because this helps you in your relationship and when you get married, because there's a new set of standards that are, you know, that the foundation of your relationship.
If you don't know how to keep boundaries before you get married, how do you think that you're going to keep boundaries when you are married?
Exactly.
So we definitely encourage like single people to just really be a person of integrity, someone who sticks to what they say they're going to do, and really just practice self-discipline when you're single, so that you can take that into a relationship and not feel some kind of way, or not try to be double-minded, I guess.
And keep dying to the flesh. I think that's the ultimate thing. Literally, the boundaries are there to keep your flesh into submission. Okay, because we're not going to live a life where our flesh dictates everything that we do. That we have an urge to do this and then we go and do it, and we have an urge to do that and then we go and do that. No, we submit the flesh to the spirit, and we are moved by the spirit and not by the flesh. So literally, have boundaries, have standards.
We are children of God, and we hold ourselves to a seriously high standard. And even though we fall, we get back up and we keep going. So when we're single, we practice that. We set boundaries, we discipline ourselves. When we get into our relationship, we set boundaries, we discipline ourselves, and that dictates our lives, our decisions, and everything. So the more that we can do as individuals when we're single, the better.
Yeah, definitely, because the thing is, there's a lot of heartache and a lot of pain and a lot of like rubbing of knuckles and friction when you're in a relationship, but you can actually lessen that by what you do in your singlehood. Your singlehood is so important,
right? Life doesn't start when you get married, literally. I know people who have just had the most amazing upbringing from two-parent households, who love each other, who practice Christian values and everything, and then they're like, their life is just nicer, do you know what I mean? Like, some of our struggles are literally generational because of the decisions of parents, decisions of us when we're growing up, and just being led by the flesh. But like, there is better, you know? And we're making the sacrifices now so that our children can reap the rewards. Imagine us two actually loving each other.
Things that of our past and things of the previous generation that Annabella said that we need to end. It's not going to go into our future loins. We are ending it today,
and we have to make the sacrifices so that it's possible, and literally get things embedded into our character and into the way that we do life, so that it can be something that our children just see.
Because the worst thing is being a parent that's telling your child not to do something that you can't even do. That's who you are, and you can't do yourself. You want your child to see. Well, I want my son to see that I'm a man of integrity, and then he tries to, you know, copy me, so to speak. And I want my daughter to see the way I treat Annabella, and I just see, so that's how a man treats his wife, not like what social media portrays or anything like that. You set the standard in your household, and like you can see, Annabella and I are someone who think so far down the line. So when we went out, when we were single, we were thinking about what kind of person we wanted to be in our relationship. When we were in a relationship, we were thinking about what kind of person do we want to be in our marriage. Now we're married, we're thinking, what kind of parents do we actually want to be? And we just keep thinking, because the decisions that we make today is going to dictate, the decisions that we make today is going to have an impact and dictate the future that we're going to have.
Seriously. So, we want to play our part in doing our thing. Like my daughters, they will love their natural hair. They will love their dark skin. They will love being slim and tall, because that's what, depends.
Depends on
who knows how they're going to come out. But literally, we just want to play our part in making sure that they, you know,
that we set them up to win.
At the end of the day. So that's went a bit left, but
yeah, no, we just got a bit passionate and it went over. But we have one more actually.
What?
We have a bonus one.
A bonus question?
A bonus question to us. Okay, the thing is, with regards to relationships, okay, don't get in a relationship if you haven't got time for a relationship. So a question you need to ask yourself is, do I have time? Because you don't want to be in a position where you're up there and everywhere and then you're just leaving your person. You're going to just give them heartache.
Because sometimes you're thinking about a relationship from the benefit of yourself, which obviously we all have a selfish nature, and obviously you want to be loved by another human being. But like, if you don't have time for it, and you're just going to be squeezing them in here and there, and you're not willing to compromise on actually making time for them, and blah blah blah, and you're going to be complaining that I'm missing out on a job deal because I have to spend time with my partner. Like, that's not the mentality that you want to go in. So sometimes accept that actually in this season of life where I'm setting myself up, where I'm doing this and doing that, I'm not ready for a relationship because I do not have the time to give that person that they will require. So literally, let's just be people who actually know ourselves and know where we're at in life. Like, if now's not the right time, that is perfectly fine. Don't let your age be a dictator of, I need to get married even though I'm the most busy person. It's just that time. Like, no, if you're not willing to slow down for a season, then that's fine. But just don't try to bring someone else, into that.
Definitely, because we're in relationships. There is an investment, and the biggest investment that you can make is time, and that's how your partner will know that you love them by investing the time in, and you're there for them. So if you haven't got time for a relationship, please don't give somebody heartache. Just stay out of the relationship. Allow them to go and find someone else, okay? Because you don't want to be walking around. We don't want someone to be walking around with a heartache. Let them go.
And someone might come along. And if you're not willing to give up time for them, then maybe they're not the right person for you. Because trust me, I didn't think I was ready for a relationship. I didn't think I wanted a relationship. But I met Gabes and I was like, oh, hello. You're my kind of guy, So, I'm willing to make those compromises. So ask yourself those questions. Like, let's always go back to the why and ask ourselves that question.
So that's it. We're out.
See you later, guys.
Peace.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Get us. Yeah, we're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of July. So if you like our videos and you like you like the previous video, share the video, okay? Let's grow this family. You understand?
You're so strategic, man. Anyways, I'm just here going with whatever. If you want to share. If you don't. But yeah.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Let's go.
That's why we need each other. But anyway, love you guys so much. See you later. Oh my god, this head scar. Or whatever it's called. Got migraine.
Okay.
Anyways, bye guys.